And welcome back, everybody. Hey, the Bronx Babe is in the house. It's a one-woman show, written, produced, and performed in our borough, right here in the Boogie Down BX. And joining us for a preview and to share her story, we have Sony Marie Lee. She's in the house. Give her a big hand, everybody. Yes.
How are you? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
That's Italian, though.
Well, I'm Irish Puerto Rican, so we'll call it Irican.
Irican.
Okay. I got the Irican attitude.
I understand.
That's what the Bronx Babe is all about.
Tell us about your project.
All right. It's a true story about my life growing up in the Bronx, being half Irish, half Puerto Rican in the 70s, the early 70s, with the racial tensions, the gang wars. You had the Black Spades, you had the Savage Skulls, you had the busing, which a lot of violence happened on those buses, particular buses.
Yeah.
And
when you say busing, some people don't understand that desegregation took place at that time, probably.
Yes.
And then you had to be bused from one school to the next.
Right. So they bust the lower income kids into a generally Irish Jewish neighborhood. And so, it took off from there. There was a lot of misunderstanding, but my story is about girls playing hooky from school, going to botanical gardens, the Bronx Zoo. But our clique of girls were different, because we were Irish, Black, Spanish, Jewish, multiracial, different religious beliefs and backgrounds, which was unique because all the other cliques hung out with their same race or gender. Yeah. And so it's a story about, growing up, the first kiss.
You were in the mix.
Yeah, I was in the yeah. I almost drowned to death on my first kiss, by the way.
What?
Because he slobbered me. So it's stories about that. I mean, you have a Bronx tale. All these stories about boys growing up. This is a story about girls. Us. I've never heard of one, and now it's my time to tell it. And I think the younger generation especially can relate, to see how we survived back in the day without a cell phone, and, and the older generation can reminisce.
Yeah. What inspired you to do this?
Well, oh God, unfortunately, I lost my entire immediate family. And it's also about them, being half Irish and half Puerto Rican was really bizarre growing up. I said, Mom, Dad, why am I so different? One side I'm doing the Irish jig, the other side I'm doing salsa and merengue and all that.
You come up with a new dance.
I do. Yeah, well, that's going to be kind of stiff and weird, but put them together. Yeah. But so after I lost my brother, I decided to write this story, and on my couch in tears, and I decided to just turn this misery into something wonderful, from ashes to roses kind of thing. So that was the inspiration, and I had a very unusual comical family as well, growing up.
Thus, the Bronx Babe. How did you come up with that name?
Well, all right, I'll tell you a quick little story. I grew up in Harlem, and I was upset to hear that the family was moving from Manhattan to the Bronx. I told my mother, I don't want to move to the Bronx. And she goes, oh, you should especially love the idea of the family moving to the Bronx. Let me tell you a little story.
So your mother was Spanish?
Puerto Rican, yes. And from Ponce and everything, with the accent and all. Cute little thing, 4'11". And my father was 6'4", so he had to hold on to her neck when they walked side by side. So she said she had trouble giving birth. My brother was a breech-born baby, born feet first. Sure. And my sister, she nearly lost her life in labor for 72 hours giving birth to my sister. And in a Catholic hospital, even till this day, if there's complications between the mother and the child always lives. So when my father found out that my mother was pregnant with me, he quickly decided that my mother was going to give birth at a Jewish hospital in the Bronx. And hence, that's how I came up with the title for the show, The Bronx Babe.
The Bronx Babe.
Later discovering I was born in the Bronx, and it was like returning home for me. And
right, so you're performing all over the place. Right?
I did perform at a country club, and then this year I was supposed to perform off-Broadway in Manhattan, and I tripped on an uneven pavement and cracked my kneecap, compound fracture. Ooh. And I was taken to the hospital. They had to repair it with nails and stapled me up with 37 staples, and it delayed the show for a year. So now I'm physical
They screwed
therapy.
you together.
Yeah, I'm like the bionic
How's it
woman,
now?
I guess. It's better. I mean, I have a lot of dance routines in the show, so I'm aiming at a May 2017, which I hear is the Year of the Woman, and in Manhattan, and hopefully, you know, I can perform these dance routines from the music of the early 70s.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of music are we listening to? Is it,
We're listening
it's disco?
No, disco came
disco.
out 74. That's after the Bronx Babe.
Oh,
I have
okay.
the high school years coming
Yes.
up. The Bronx Babe is middle school, junior high. And then I have the disco era that I happen to have like lots of notes on that I plan
All right.
to eventually do this, perform the show off Broadway, sell it into a film. I even have the girl that will portray me in the film as one of my dancers in
Look
the show.
at you. Got a
Yeah.
film and everything working.
I'm like, I'm ready to rock it, take
Yeah.
off. Yeah, so you know,
Look at that.
I have a lifetime career in modeling, and when I was younger, I had like so many ads. I says, oh, this is it, my ticket. I'm going to be famous. You
Yeah.
know? And I would work with like Christy Brinkley and all these famous models. I go, you're famous, and you're famous. I'm the only one not famous. And they're like, oh, Sonny, you have to focus and concentrate. But I knew it wasn't my time, and I know it's my time now.
How has the Bronx shaped your work?
It taught me about, it taught me how to love everyone for who they are on the inside and not to judge or be judged by the color of your skin. Like I mentioned to you earlier, first day of junior high school, I'm walking to school, 3 Puerto Rican girls come up to me and ask me, are you white? Now, me being much taller than them, I look at my hand, look back at them, and I said, well, it sure looks like it, don't it? And of course, they were about to jump me. I said, wait a minute, listen. I said, my mother was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and my father is Irish. So if you girls want to kick my butt, you better figure out a way to kick half of it. And then they started laughing and called me Blanca, and we kissed, and we said we parted ways.
And the rest is
So,
history.
yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and just surviving like that, you know.
So, how did you choose what you're going to do? I mean, of course, your
As
your
a writer?
mom and dad, and
Oh, like how
you
I-
produce and you.
Oh, how I, well, I was compelled to do it by a higher power. I really believe that this is why I was born to do. Ironically, I'm a writer, but I've been writing since I was in first grade, second grade, and now it's time to express myself, and this is my moment. And I just want to give to the world some sort of joy and some sort of New York City culture that hasn't been spoken about or expressed. There isn't any girl story out there. I don't know of one. So I compare it a little bit to, what was that? I compare it a little bit to, what was that one, the off-Broadway show? A Bronx Tale.
A Bronx Tale.
I went to see A Bronx Tale on Broadway, but a girl's version of Chaz Palminteri's story. And it's an Irish Puerto Rican version versus an Italian. But it's also a multi-diverse version. It's about how the Spanish, Caucasian, African American, Chinese. We even had a Chinese girl in our clique. You know, I mean, Jewish, about a clique of girls actually coming together of many different races and how it worked and the comedy and the hilarity of these different characters put together in my
like
life.
to play Hamilton. Got a wonderful mix in there.
Right. Yes, and it's along that genre. It's along this storytelling that needs to be expressed. That there isn't any now, and you know the younger generation is just so thirsty for times.
So May 2017.
May
We'll get a chance
2017.
to see you.
Yes.
Can we go to a website and experience some of your pictures? And
I will be launching it at
information?
Kickstarter. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as the Bronx Babe, and I will be coming along with my own website and before the show in May 2017.
Oh, take care of that knee so we can see you dance and perform.
Okay, I don't want to break a leg. I don't want to do anything.
No, you got to get
breaking
out there and break a
bones.
leg.
Okay, I
But not
will.
literally.
Not
Thank
literally.
you so much.
Thank
Give her a
you.
big round of applause, everybody. Sony Marie Lee, the Bronx Babe is in the house. Hey, hey. All right, we got to take a quick break right here, but up next we'll learn about a winter run with a positive goal. But first, let's take a look at an art exhibit highlighting the great culture and diversity of our borough. Check it out.